Welcome to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Council. I'm Teresa Aronson from the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It's our pleasure, our honor to facilitate this event every third Tuesday of the month. It's free, it's open to the public. We do it right here at the Community Center on Arosa, across from City Hall. We sweeten the pot with coffee and Danish, courtesy of Steamworks, right there on US 1 in Port St. Lucie, right across from Bella Vista, right in that area. It's in the plaza over there, right? Buena Vista. What is it? It's La Buena Vista. Yeah. It's called Steamworks. You'll find it. It's in the plaza. Just go over there. There's a lot of great small businesses. All right. I'm going to get started as we always do. I want to welcome our representative from the Port St. Lucie Council this month. We have a lot to talk about. She has spread out her work on the desk, and we are ready to go. But it's always a pleasure and never, ever boring when my co-host is the one, the only Councilwoman Stephanie Morgan. Welcome.
Woohoo! So,
yes,
it's all about me.
A round of applause for Miss Morgan.
And if you can't remember my name, just remember Captain Morgan or More with Morgan. Mm-hmm. But when I talk, when it comes to government, I usually say less is more. We're going to get started with the whole news story thing. Oh, what news story?
Well, this thing.
Oh, well, yeah.
So I consider myself somewhat informed, right? I do this show every month.
I thought this was my show.
But it is. I'm setting you up.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I'll explain it to you. So I had known that they were lowering the millage rate in the city of Port St. Lucie. I got my trim notice that indicated they were lowering the millage rate. They gave me the date in which I can go to that meeting and speak about it and, get my opinion on record, and they were going to make a final vote. And then all of a sudden I see a news story. It says, City of Port St. Lucie raises taxes. And I thought, they can't do that. That can't be true. And guess what? It's not true, is it? No.
But did your tax bill go up? Yes. But Port St. Lucie did not. We did lower the millage rate, but your property value increased. So with that and with everything else on your tax bill, and here's mine for Jesus, God, and everybody to see.
They're all public record.
So when you look at, I'm sure when you get your tax bill, you immediately go and you look at that bottom line and you go, oh my gosh. But the best thing to do is to go line by line. There's only 16 lines. Go line by line and see which ones went up, down, and so forth. But you've got to really dive deep. And Port St. Lucie, we are transparent, and it was interesting. I had a meeting yesterday we had an informal meeting. Last week we had the first budget hearing, of which we had 2.5 hours of public input. We are always here to listen to the public. It is your tax dollars. I'm a taxpayer too, $4,674.71. So I'm right there with you. Won't go into homeowners insurance there, Jared with Owen Insurance, not like
he doesn't
Jake with the other guy, but it's Jared with Owen.
He is going to panic right now if I don't mention that he does not do homeowners.
He does not do homeowners insurance, okay?
He is literally going to fall down and go fetal if I don't mention that he does not do homeowners.
But Jake at State Farm does. No, I'm kidding. But but before we get into this and dive into this, and I know there's going to be a lot of questions, I want to do a super big shout out to Sandpiper Bay Resort for showing up today. Sandpiper Bay Resort, which used to be the old Club Med, is now Sandpiper Bay Resort by Wyndham.
Yes.
And they are going to be an ultra all-inclusive, only one in the U.S. right here in Port St. Lucie.
But key there is operated by the Wyndham family of products, because I will go on record, because they're never going to come back to the United States, so I'm not worried about it. Never was a Club Med fan. Their model is just not conducive to local communities, and so I'm so excited about Wyndham being here.
I'm thrilled, because we never saw, but the only thing I'm disappointed in what you have to start doing if you come to any of our events is you have to bring the white chocolate bread. Okay?
That's the one thing that Club Med did right, but I do happen to know that was a local pastry chef that invented the white chocolate and the dark chocolate Club Med, right,
here?
Maria? And she's she doesn't work there, but she is a local pastry artist. Okay, and he's still baking in the community? Celestine was his name, but he was the inventor. So it was a local.
Good.
Club Med didn't bring that here.
So we're calling it the Wyndham,
Yes.
the Port St. Lucie Sandpiper Bay Resort White Chocolate Bread.
There you go. There you go.
It is so good.
It's the best.
But I had to bring that up. So a big shout out and thank you for being involved in Port St. Lucie because that's giving back. And a lot of people don't realize. So Margie, you were at the meeting Monday. Oh, you watched it. Carol, there's a Margie too.
I know. All I saw was a lot of confusion over there.
Carol,
but we've
Margie.
straightened it
I'm
out.
trying to
Carol
remember the names.
Watched it.
It was fun. It was better in person. Yeah. There was a lot of information. So back to the tax bill, which is really what we're here to talk. And I want to give a shout out if the OMB department, our finance, would you all please stand? And this was last minute yesterday at 11:30. I'm talking. No, you're not in our finance department, Tony.
I was like, why is the Leak Busters guy standing up?
This is our OMB part of our OMB department. We've got many others.
Nobody at home can see them.
I know you can't see them, but we do have 3 representatives yesterday. You can sit down now. Thank you so much.
Oh, maybe that one. I think that camera did catch him.
Oh, good.
Yay.
But I was in the meeting with the city manager right after our informal meeting, and I said it'd be great to have representation in case we have people that have questions on your tax bill, which I bet you do, which we're going to do after we close the meeting.
Yeah, we'll go through it and then we'll do it. They'll ask questions.
There's a lot of things to remember when you look at your tax bill, of course. There are 16 line items. We're only 2 of them. You have ad valorem, which is your top half, and your non-ad valorem, which are your assessments, which are below. And that's where you'll see the garbage bill.
Yep.
You'll see the stormwater. If you're in a homeowners association, you will see CDD, the Community Development District will have theirs tacked on, or if you're in a special assessment district, SAD, you'll have that on there. So it all depends. I know in Okeechobee's the same way because I do have property over there. Their fire and rescue is under non-ad valorem.
Oh, it is? So either fire and rescue is not a taxing district. It's just a fee.
But we are
ours
here.
is. Ours is a taxing
I think we're
district.
the only one in the state, though. There's only a few.
There are a few.
There's only a few.
Not many, but it makes them responsible for their own budget. So
but
that's
the
kind of
same,
good.
we do our own budget, and I serve as chair of the fire commission right now. And we kept it at the 3 mills. That's the max we can go. State mandates that. But we also have 4 fire stations in the pipeline, one of which we just broke ground. We're getting ready to break ground on another one. So we're going to have 4 within 3 years, and they aren't cheap. And the whole thing is the equipment is taking 18 to 24 months to get. So we're already ordering equipment to house those stations. So they were looking to maybe drop it, and I'm thinking, really, for $10 to save your life, I'll pay it. I'll pay it to build another station close to my house.
Dropping the millage rate for the fire district?
Sometimes in the past couple of years, it's been said that they wanted to possibly drop a 1/10, which is, if you drop it a 1/10, it's not, you won't see a huge difference. It's, but it does make a huge difference on the budget side.
It does to them, right?
To
if
us,
all
it
of
makes
you
a
give a
huge-
10th,
yeah.
but individually is a 10th. But remember, a 10th, your property values, even if you're Save Our Homes homesteaded, your property value still goes up to 3%, which
to 3.
it almost always does in Florida, right? Like, when have we seen our property values drop? Very rarely. So it goes
08.
up 3%, the recession, but it came right
recession.
back, and now it's soared past that. So it goes up 3%, and then they've dropped their charge on that 3% increase by a tenth, right? So it's still a little more that
Right.
you're paying.
So you were dissecting mine.
I did. I did a lot of math on that
My
thing.
taxes for Port St. Lucie went up 3%. Now, we dropped the millage rate, but my taxes went up 3%. But if you look on the back, my assessed value went up 3%. So really, it was flat.
It stayed flat.
I'm not paying any more, but my property value went up. Another one that came up at Monday night, they had purchased a house, and the realtors, and I'm so glad to see the realtors. I'm a realtor also, but I'm gonna preach to you right now. When you're looking for a home and you go on MLS and they have on there the property taxes, that's showing you the property tax amount that current homeowner is paying. Do your homework and please be transparent and explain to the new buyers that is not going to be your tax bill. Go on the property appraiser's site to see what it's going to be, because they could be paying $3,000. Mine's $4,064. If you were to buy my house, your taxes would probably be $10,000. So don't go by that. So we did have quite a few new residents that have just bought a home. You go to closing, you pay your pro rata for that year of taxes. The next year you get your tax bill and it went from $3,000 to $9,000 and you're freaking out. And this is where we are here to help you, and the property appraiser is here to help you, and realtors are here to help you to help you understand. There's also a thing called portability. I'm not getting into. If you moved here from Florida, within Florida, you can transfer your portability from where you were to here.
I just had a portability conversation, and now I understand it because I had a friend that needed help. So I know what portability is, and I feel like I can explain it in 2 seconds.
All right, go for it.
All right. So portability in Florida, this is what it is. So you have an assessed value, and let's say you lived in that house for a very long time. So your assessed value, what they tax you on, can only go up by 3% every year. But your fair market value goes up a lot, right? So portability is the number when you sell your house between the fair market value and your assessed value. You get to take that difference and apply it to the next house you buy. Do you understand? So if
It helps.
If I am only paying taxes on $100,000 because I've lived there for 40 years, but my house is worth $400,000 when I sell it, I get $300,000, the difference between the value and what I'm assessed. I get to take that with me and say, please apply a $300,000 reduction into my assessed value of my new home.
And you can look that up on the property appraiser's website, paslc.org.
She explained it to me the other day.
Everything's right there. I even looked up my portability, and of course my...
It should be, you could tell on the back, it's on the back of your car. Oh, here. What is your
Well, my
assessed
market value last year was $422,500. This year's $514,600.
And what's your assessed value?
Assessed value went from $215,000 to $221,000.
So $515 minus $221.
And my portability, it's right there in purple, my favorite color, $292,996.
Yep, that's the difference between
that's the portability.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that, so just trying to help you. But just remember on here, also a few years ago, everyone had the chance to vote in St. Lucie County to do a second line item for the school district. So we are paying 2 millage rates to the school district, and that was the teachers.
Yeah, they can only go to a certain amount on their own, and the rest if they want to go above that, they have to vote on it. So that's why there's 2 lines. We voted and we said, yep, we're going to pay for, I think it was
teachers and security
and mental health. So it was counselors, resource officers at the schools, and teacher salaries.
Yeah, it was right after the Valentine's Day episode down south.
Yeah.
So it's the security, the teachers' pay, and the mental health issues were something else. So that's what they have directed that to. So
very good.
I do want to mention now, Monday night yesterday, and this is one of the things, we are known as, everybody says, oh, we're the safest city in Florida, 3rd largest safest city over 100 or whatever. We're now the 6th largest city in Florida for our population. We went from the 7th. I think when I started, we were the 9th, and now we're at the 6th. So Monday, we were blessed to receive a $25,000 grant that came to us from the guardian angel to the police department so they can have the flashing lights on their shoulders that when they're at an accident and directing traffic, that hopefully you'll see them and not run them over like somebody did to one of our officers. He's okay, he's back, he's good. All good, but his main concern was we need to have visibility for the police officers. Well, that costs money. And we were able to get a grant. So every one of our officers has that now.
Yay.
So I wanted to bring out, did everybody get the little card? There's a QR code on there. Scan that with your phone. You can pull up your tax bill. It will give you line by line how much you're paying for every department of Port St. Lucie. This is strictly for Port St. Lucie. This is not for county. This is not for your mosquito control. It's not for anything else, which is the county. We are not mosquito control. So I don't want to hear about the mosquitoes.
I think, you know what, let's even just tell them, just so you know, the city, as Councilwoman Morgan mentioned, they only have 2 items, voted debt and then their taxes. But the county has their general fund, which is what the city has, right? A general fund. They also have jail, the sheriff's department, law enforcement. That is under the county's budget. They also have erosion district, mosquito control, county parks, and county transit. Those are all individual line items on your tax bill that are controlled by the county. And it tells you on your tax bill who controls it too. Then you have schools, and then you have independent districts, which is the fire, the Florida Inland Navigation, which are the buoy systems here on the Treasure Coast, and Children's Services Council is also an independent taxing district. I couldn't read the other ones. They're too small. Help me out there. What does that say?
Oh, South Florida Water Management. God, we're getting old.
So old.
South Florida Water Management District, which is 10 cents, not even. Everglades project. So water quality is very important.
Those look like state mandated.
Yes, those are.
Yeah. That's what I couldn't read. It was too small.
But on this QR code, this will take you to Port St. Lucie, and it'll break your taxes down so that you can see exactly what you're paying for the police department. You can see exactly what you're paying for the city council office.
And your parks and everything is all wrapped
Parks
up
is right
in
there.
Your general fund
Yes,
amount.
everything's in there. So it'll give you how much you're paying annually for those departments. So if you have any questions, like even Teresa said, reach out, council office. My assistant was just over here bringing over some information. If you ever call the office, you're going to get Brandon or Christina. And they have a wealth of information. They can tell you anything about it. And he said he looked up his, and he pays annually $1.30 for city council and mayor's office. A year. That's pretty good. And I tell you what, this is not a part-time job.
No.
Because when I go to the grocery store and y'all stop me and tell me about somebody's yard is overgrown, I have to report it. Or if you ask me for a copy of something, I have to go right then and do a public records. So it is not 24/7. And I still can't imagine how you recognize me in the grocery store with my hair on a Sunday.
You'd be surprised.
Oh, Lordy. Anyway, another very important part is the total tax bill. And it's one of the slides that we'll be showing, not me, but Caroline will be showing, breaking your bill down. Port St. Lucie is 22%. The county and the school are both over 31%. And then you have the special districts, that's 15%. So, and we just bumped up to, I believe, out of the top 20 cities, we bumped up to the 3rd lowest city in taxes. So we are not the most expensive place that you keep hearing. The newspapers love Blank Fontenay. Hi, Blake. But tell the truth and tell the whole story. not just bits and pieces of the story. So if you have questions, please stick around. We'll be here. I've got my tax bill pulled up. You can look at it, and there's all kinds of information.
So the truth of the matter is you may be paying slightly more because the value of your home went up. The city actually lowered their millage rate. That is the truth.
8th year in a row we have lowered the millage rate.
They cannot control the incredibly increasing values of a Florida home. We live in paradise. Everybody else wants to too, right?
And they're still moving in like crazy. I think I spoke to one of the developers, and in 1 month they sold over 55 homes.
Yeah, the developers are doing just fine out there in their CDDs.
Yes, they are. And of course, if you're moving, I've been a country girl, so I'm originally from North Carolina, but I've lived here in Port St. Lucie since 1962. I'm only 39.
Yeah.
That's female math. So being here that long, I'm kind of like stuck here, and I love it here. But people that are moving here, like from your New York City, and they come down here, and all these houses are so close, and they love it. They think they're in the country, and they all love it here. And when I grow up, I'm going to live in one of those developments out there because they like to have fun.
I like the amenities, but I also don't like having neighbors. So I don't know which. It's really hard, right?
It's pretty
Do they have
close.
That? Yeah.
So I know a lot of people also talk about the traffic.
Yeah.
Everybody's worried about the traffic. What's going on? Port St. Lucie Boulevard is being widened. We did advance the money. DOT was not ready to give us the money, and we went ahead and put the money out there to get that done. Yes, it causes a headache. It's progress. It's the same thing with the bridge going over 95 in St. Lucie West. What a pain that was. Avoid it at all costs. However, it's almost done. I think it is done. And it's progress. They were widening the lanes. And next is going to be the intersection at Peacock. They're making modifications there. St. Lucie West, we're looking into design now for going 6-lane. It's needed. They've been an F for many, many years.
That's a failing road.
Level of service is way beyond. So it's a bad grade.
Yes.
So if you got an F, that's not a good grade to get, remember, in school.
It means it's not adequate for the traffic that's on it.
It is not at all. I think the level of service is 30,000 and it's over 50.
It's a hot mess.
It is a hot mess. You got to know exactly when to go to St. Lucie West. Great place to go, but you got to know the timing and you got to know the back ways, the secret back ways. And I'm not going to tell you or else you'll start using them. I'm kidding.
I pride myself on knowing all the back ways.
Yes.
I've been here way too long, so I'm like, main roads are not for me.
It used to be cattle country out there.
Yeah. They used to have a gate at the bridge.
Yeah, at the 95 and at the Turnpike's been here since 1957.
Yeah.
So that
right
was
at the
here.
Turnpike bridge, they had a gate. Couldn't go into St. Lucie West. Yeah.
Yep. But that was the 90. Well, it was a gate there, but at Port St. Lucie Boulevard, yes, the bridge was over. Port St. Lucie Boulevard was, but you weren't allowed to go over it. Yeah. Well, yeah, because I used to go out, and I can't believe I'm going to tell people this, but we used to ride our bikes there from Prima Vista, where I lived. We used to ride our bikes all the way out to Bayshore, or there was no Bayshore, but we rode them out there, and we would watch the cars go by underneath.
The bridge?
Yeah.
Is that what all you did?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to leave it at that.
I didn't throw anything. I did not throw anything.
Did you have boyfriends?
Ooh, no. I didn't like boys back then.
Yeah, boys are gross.
Yeah.
Did you grew up off Naranja, right?
Correct.
I thought so. Yeah.
Which is actually River Park.
Yeah.
And it's the borderline of the county and the city. And I was in the county side because we had sidewalks. But it was Port St. Lucie. I've always just been a part of Port St. Lucie.
Everybody says that. It's so funny because if you're new here, you don't quite get it, right? I always say, where do you live? And they say Port St. Lucie, and I say, I'll be the judge of that. Because unfortunately, the two cities are Port St. Lucie in Fort Pierce, but you don't necessarily live in the city limits. So
Right.
your services will depend on where you actually, what jurisdiction you're in. And that is so confusing for everybody. And then my favorite is we have St. Lucie West Boulevard and Port St. Lucie Boulevard. People are like, I don't get it. This poor man, I could not get him. He came into my office. I was trying to go over the map with him, and he's like, so that's Port St. Lucie West Boulevard. And I'm like, no. I finally gave in, because at least you had the West in there, and then also Port St. Lucie and St. Lucie County. So we've made it so easy to follow for everybody that moves here.
And I love
Yeah.
when people say, here's my address, St. Lucie, West Florida. And I said, there is no such thing. But it's been interesting. I mean, I'm back in the days of 305. So
Oh, yeah,
go
that's
figure.
right.
It was, we've really experienced some exponential growth, and there's not too much that can be done. There's some that can be done, but you have property rights. So if a person owns a lot, or even with the developers that are out west, they have developmental rights. We cannot stop someone from building a home on their lot.
Can we impede services?
I don't think you're supposed to ask questions until after the show's over.
Crud. That's my fault. She's exactly right.
I'm always right.
That
Ask my
is
husband.
right. That is exactly right. I'm not allowed to ask questions. Okay.
We'll get
move
into
on.
that. We'll get into that.
Well, after.
But there's a lot of information on the tables. Please take them back. Help communicate with others. I always like to say educate, 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 but it's also all about communication. You have to communicate to educate. Or you have to educate to communicate, one or the other, whichever one sounds good. I thought they both sounded good.
They did sound good. I
It's all
bought
about
both.
communication, being transparent, and ask the questions. I don't care how silly you think they are, ask them.
Yeah.
I do. And I'm on the city council. I don't know it all. Not at all. But I will find the answer from OMB that's sitting out in the audience.
The chamber's kind of the same way. We have our hands in a little bit of everything, just enough for me to answer some, nominal questions, but then let me get the experts
Right.
in on, yeah.
I wanted to go back where I was getting at with St. Lucie West Boulevard. I know that we got an estimate of what it would cost.
Oosh.
Take a wild guess.
I don't even want to guess. I know it's a lot.
I'm going to say 73 or 5, really.
Million
dollars.
Yeah.
Just for that short stint of adding 2 lanes. So prices have increased. We all notice that. Eggs have finally come down. I don't have to hear about eggs anymore. But the price of meat sure has gone up a lot lately. So everything's gone up.
So that would be from Kashmir to 95?
Bayshore to 95.
Now, Bayshore over the bridge is 6 lanes, right? So
It is. So
Kashmir-
Kashmir. Yes, you are correct.
$71 million. And how many years of construction?
Yeah, that's going to be tough to handle. So you think it's bad now?
Just
I'm
wait.
sure everything gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
But we need it. And we need, that's what we concentrate on is our infrastructure is number one. And that's what we're going to the state and also federal for monies is for infrastructure money for our stormwater, our transportation. I also serve on the transportation planning organization. We're getting ready to go over and rank all of the jobs or what am I trying to say?
The
Projects. We're rating all the
prioritize. They're going to
projects.
prioritize which ones need to be done,
So
first, second, later, now, yesterday, all that good stuff.
And that we have county roads within our city too. So it all depends. We're kind of chopped up. There's a little mix of everything. It's kind of like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, it is
Unless you stick your finger in it. Or get Walt Whitman's
take
and
a
you
bite.
can get the name. But I think I'm pretty much good. because I want to get out and about and hear the questions.
I love questions. Honestly,
yeah, I like questions better.
Are my favorite part too, but
I like interaction.
That is a privilege of those who take the time to come down and join us, which I do like, to be honest with you. We didn't have a sponsor today, but next year we've opened up our sponsorship, so we're going to have different sponsors throughout the year, so we're really excited about that.
Awesome.
We're going to have one that's every other month, but then the rest are all individual sponsorships. They'll be highlighted one time.
So if you're interested, Jared, with Owen Insurance, just thought I'd throw that in there, or Tony with Leak Busters, who thinks he's with OMB. But
yeah. I was like, wait a minute. But so you can. That's actually sold out, though. We sold out all our sponsorships.
Well, then why are you advertising it?
Well, because I want people to know there's other opportunities with the chamber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I want them to be excited that it's not going to be the same person every single month. I think we're going to do a lot more with it. So that was something that the council had asked me to work on, because we'd had the same sponsor for years and years and years, but we've taken care of that for them, and we're excited. Also, we do some other talk shows that are free and open to the public. So if you find this interesting, we do Coffee with the Chair for St. Lucie County, also free and open to the public, and it's a lunchtime event. We have Jimmy John's subs that we give you free at that one. Bobby Malik is a great partner for us. He has a couple Jimmy John's here in St. Lucie County. He donates sandwiches to that one. And we also have Covering the Bases with the Mets, which we do with a student athlete, and then the Mets will give away a scholarship to a senior athlete at the end of the year. So there's lots of things that the chamber does that's free and open to the public. Don't think that you have to be a member. We have opportunities for everybody, and sponsorship opportunities to be highlighted. This show, oddly enough, as you mentioned, you get recognized. I mean, you're on the channel 24 hours a day because you're on council, right? You're at the dais. But this show,
if you watch that?
Well, I think people do, but you'd be surprised how many people watch this show. I am always very shocked, and it's people that you wouldn't imagine. The younger gal at Walgreens that checked me out the other day said she watched the show on TV.
Wow.
I know. Our demographic is getting younger.
And you can also do video on demand.
Yeah.
So it's there, and those are our cameramen behind the camera.
Yeah. So anyway, great stuff. I appreciate that, and I appreciate Mid-Florida being our sponsor for so many years. They did a great job for us. But we are going to take a break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to tell, actually, we're not going to come back because we're going to do questions.
Questions.
Yes.
The meaty part.
So I want to thank, of course, Councilwoman Morgan for being with us today, and your staff, Avi and Gussie. I'm not going to say it. I can't do it.
Avi Mo.
I can't say it. I can't do it. And of course, Nash from my office and Steamworks Coffee. If you haven't been,
cheers.
Please go support a true local business. And all of you for coming today. And we'll see you next month, stluciechamber.org, for a full listing of all of our events. Have a great day, everybody.